Yay, I think it's live. I never know. It like hangs up. Hello. Welcome to the February reading wrap-up live show. My favorite thing that I do on my channel, because I get to talk to my friends about the books that we've already read, and we get to talk a little bit more in detail about them. I do fun little like games and prompts and stuff like that. So I know if you are watching this right now, I know you know these ladies, but we're going to do introductions anyway. So we'll do Jordan, Jesse.
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Jordan. My channel is Sorry Booked Solid. I'm on Gwen's channel all the time. She's on my channel all the time. So we have a lot in common with the books we read and things like that. But I like to do reading vlogs. A lot of the books I'm going to talk about in this wrap up have been on reading vlogs on my channel, but that's what I like making the most. So
I lost my words there for a minute. Sorry.
Speechless.
Hello. Speechless. But hello, my name is Jessie. My channel is Reading with Jess. It's also like that on Instagram. Like Jordan said, I'm mentioned and seen on Gwen's channel like she has on my channel. We're all just like big group of besties here. But I do like reading vlogs, challenges, TBRs, videos like that as well.
And you also have your book club, Sleep When I'm Dead.
Oh, yes, that too. See, Gwen's always there to remind me of something. I do have a thriller book club on my channel, and I do also have a Discord for it. It's called Sleep When I'm Dead, which I have one of those books in my pile as well, which we'll get into.
Nice. And then for March, you and Jordan are reading The Villa by Rachel Hawkins.
Yes,
so see, they're going to be together again.
I know, right?
Yes, can't get rid of us.
No, absolutely not. And I'll be reading that as well in March. But do you guys normally do reading wrap-up like videos on your channel?
Yes. I haven't done one yet this year because January is, I just kept putting it off. And then next thing I knew, I was in the last week of February. So I just filmed today, actually, a January and February wrap up. But I do like to keep up with them. So I have a record of everything that I read every month.
And I love your wrap ups, how you do the graphs. And stuff
yeah,
like
I do a lot of statistics at the start of the videos where I talk about not only the number of books that I read, but like break down genres, ratings. This year I've started tracking also publishers and diversity representation in books. So that'll all be included in my statistics as well throughout the wrap-ups.
Nice. So look forward to that soon. What about you, Jessie? You do something fun for your wrap-ups.
I do. It's actually your suggestion. I do reading wrap-up live shows on my channel. I'm trying to do it at the first Saturday morning of every month. So I did January, and then the last one before that was actually August. I don't know why I didn't
skip a little bit.
Yeah, it was such a success. I don't know why I didn't continue it, but that's one of my goals this year is to do monthly wrap-ups. And Gwen's like, do it live because you don't have to edit, and then boom, it's done and over with. I was like, genius.
Yeah.
So I will be going up this Saturday.
Nice. And you also share like your reading tracker and your stats and stuff like that too.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I love that.
And everything.
Nice. All right. Let's see who's here. Let's say the comments are always so slow on my end for some reason. So I'm sorry if I skip anybody tonight or anything like that. I apologize. But hey, Brandon and Gab is here. Let's see. Yay. February reads. Hey, Lena. I'm so glad that everybody likes these because they're so much fun for me. So if you're watching and you want to be in one, the form is linked down there. It's literally like a 2-second form, y'all. It's just to tell me that you're interested. Hey, Hope. That way I know to reach out to you when I need someone to do a wrap up with me. And I promise I'm nice. I don't bite all the time. So hey, Rachel. Hey, Angel, just got home in time. Nice. And I know Keisha loves these. Mm-hmm. Want to do like, yes,
it's a game changer. I'm telling you.
Yes. Okay. So are there any books that you're still working on for the last, 3 days, like tonight and 2 more days in February?
For me, no. I've already told Gwen I use this live wrap up thing as like my cutoff for the month. So to me, February's over. My February reading is done. And it's actually kind of nice to do this every once in a while because then I could like catch up on booktube videos. I can watch a TV show if I want or a movie or something. So I'm giving myself a little break before diving into my March TBR.
You mean have a life outside of YouTube and books?
It's tough, but you gotta make time for that too.
It's funny.
What about you, Jessie?
For me, I actually was trying to race to beat Icebreaker, which I did. I finished it around 4 or 5 o'clock, I believe. So this was a book that I was trying to get done before the live show because I already sent it to Gwen. I was like, well, I told her I finished it, so I've got to finish it. So
Nice. Hi, Tina. Thank you so much for watching. We try to make these super fun. And they're different every single month also, which I like. So I try to, diversify like what we're talking about, the games and stuff like that. I am not currently reading anything. I finished a book last night / this morning, however you want to look at it. And I am going to pick up something after the live show. But yeah. So I'm not currently reading anything. Okay, so I thought since it was Valentine's Day that we would go ahead and we'll share all of the books that we read this month, and then we'll go ahead and jump into some like Valentine's themed games. So I'll go ahead and start with just all of the books that I read this month. So I read The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. I read Set on You and X's and O's by Amy. Is it Lee or Leah?
I say Lee.
I don't know.
I do too, but correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I read both of those for X's and O's, which was Jessie's readathon. This is the first book in the series. This is the second book. This was the group buddy read. I also read, I'm so excited. I read the Friend Zone trilogy.
Nice.
Okay, so so if you follow me on Instagram, which is on the screen at Lavender Mud, I was contemplating vlogging the trilogy. But I decided I didn't want to because if I couldn't go into spoilers, and a lot of people were like, well, do it spoiler free and then talk about the spoilers. The spoiler free section would be like 2 minutes. And then the rest would have to be spoilers just because of the basic setups of the books. They're so kind of like intertwined. Well, especially the first 2 books, they're so intertwined. But the third book is a little bit less. But yes, I just, Abby Jimenez is like literally a favorite author now. I read Part of Your World last year, rated at 5 stars, was my favorite book of the year. So then I was a little hesitant going into this one because of like the subject matter in the first book, but I loved it. Abby Jimenez can do no wrong. So finished the trilogy and it's just so great. I read Booked on a Feeling by J.C. Lee, which I did not know is a 3rd book in a series, but I read that without reading the first 2 books. I read Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. This is like sci-fi, I guess. We'll just call it sci-fi. Okay. I read this for Read Like an Aquarius. I read Haven by Emma Donoghue, which I will be discussing on my podcast with Lena later on in March. This is a historical fiction novel, and it's like the furthest back historical fiction novel that I've ever read. It's in 7th century Ireland. So that was a trip. I also read Malice House for Jessie's book club, Sleep When I'm Dead. And she did a live show with Keisha, and that live show was so much fun. And I'm loving actually reading the books this year and participating in the live shows.
What a change.
Reading the book. And not just there for
I also I'm not just there for the fun. I also read This Might Hurt by Stephanie Warble, which I was hesitant to go into because I had heard mixed reviews, but more negative reviews than positive reviews. But I actually ended up really, really enjoying this one. And then I read What Lies in the Woods by Kate Alice Marshall, which is one of Jesse's favorites of the year so far. But I read this for the Lights Out book club with Sav from Riveting Reads. We've already done that discussion, and that's on her channel if you're interested in that. And then I also read Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmis. I read this for the like an Aquarius as well. So those are the books that I read this month. What about
how many is
you,
that
Jordan?
total?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
She didn't
You don't have the
12.
count? Yeah.
Because
Okay.
12, but I didn't count this even though, because I read it like the last days of January, even though I'm counting it, like I'm talking about it in February, but I didn't count this one. So if I do count this one, 13, but if not, so 12.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay, the books I read 16 in February, and I have some videos that I did, so I'll kind of talk about them in chunks. But the first video that I did was reading my friend's favorite books of 2022. So in that video, I read, okay, how do I do this? The Last House on Needless Street by Katrina Ward, which is a horror book, and I think I gave it 4 stars. I read The Lost Girls of Willowbrook by Ellen Marie Wiseman. This is Lena's favorite book, and I gave it 3 stars. This I read because of Keisha. That was her favorite book. Part of Your World, that will sound familiar because it was both Gwen and Jesse's favorite book of last year. And I also gave it 5 stars. So also notable because this was my first 5-star book of 2023. So I was like, thank God it finally came in February because January was tough with no 5-star reads. And then the last book for that video was The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, which I also really enjoyed and gave 4 stars. Then let's see, a video I did and just put out was my Aardvark reading vlog. So Aardvark Book Club is kind of like book of the month, and I am a member, so I get at least 1 book from them every month. So I caught up on them. All the Dark Places by Terry Parleto is a thriller, and I gave it 3 stars, I think, but don't remember anything about it. So that speaks to my enjoyment. 𝒍𝒊𝒏𝒌𝒔 by Ali Rowbottom was a contemporary book. Gave it 2 stars. So we're going to move right along. And The Marsh Queen by Virginia Hartman was a historical fiction, like mystery type book. Also gave it 2 stars. Going to move right along. And then my best book of that vlog was Liar, Dreamer, Thief by Maria Dong, which is a mystery thriller, a little bit slow and ominous, but I really liked this one and gave it 4 stars. The other books that I read, I did a Blackathon vlog reading books by Black authors and really enjoyed that. The 2 that I have physically are Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert, which is a young adult romance that I thought was fine. I gave it 3 stars. And then Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan. Probably my favorite book I read this whole month. I gave it 5 stars and loved everything about it. So I probably will be talking more about this throughout this live show. 2 books I don't have physically that I read for that as well are She Would Be King by Wayatu Moore, which is a historical fiction, and Kindred by Octavia E. Butler, which is a sci-fi, like modern classic. And it was amazing. Gave it 5 stars. Then the final books I read are all romance books. So You and I Rewritten by Chip Pons is an independently published male-male romance book that I really loved and gave it 4 stars. Broken Perfect Lies by Katie Wismer, also independently published and is a romantic suspense book that I thought was fun. Gave it 3 stars. The Romantic Agenda by Claire Kahn is a romance about an asexual main character. So that was really fun to read and gave it 3 stars. And last but not least, I read Whiteout, which is by a bunch of authors, 6 different authors. And it's about a bunch of characters who all have like intertwined storylines. They're all going through the same blizzard happening in Atlanta. And I gave it 3 stars.
So did you read Blackout previously?
Rapid fire. Yes, I did read Blackout. And that was like, it was same kind of concept, but about a bunch of characters going through a blackout in New York City. and I liked it. And I really like all of these authors that are involved in this. It's like Danielle Clayton, Tiffany D. Jackson, Nick Stone, Angie Thomas, Ashley Woodfolk, and Nicola Yoon. So I really like reading from all of them.
Did you prefer one over the other, like Blackout or Whiteout?
Yeah, I think I did like Whiteout more. Blackout was very clearly like stories that did connect, but it wasn't like one long story. Whereas this one, it had different characters and different like points of view, but it was one narrative, if that makes sense. So I liked that
Okay.
better about this one.
Nice.
Yeah. I feel like I'm out of breath.
I know. It's like
And
so
I'm
many. That's
seeing-
what happens. I'm just saying, Jordan read the most books this month.
Woo.
Well, I only read 7, which I'm very disappointed in myself, but that's okay.
No
That's
need
okay.
to be disappointed. 7 is great.
My goal is 10 for each month, but I feel like in March I'm going to make that up quite a bit, especially with Gwen's Let's Get Graphic Readathon. So I feel like I'm going to fly through some graphic novels. But I guess to kind of start chronologically, these are the books I read for the X's and O's readathon, which is a readathon that I created and had a bunch of other creators like Gwen be a co-host. So still proud of my readathon. Like, I just have to gloat a little bit. It's like my little baby. But like Gwen said, we Buddy read the X's and O's by Amy Lee. This was a sequel in the Influencer series, and I ended up giving this one. Sorry, I was getting ready to say 3 stars, but it was definitely a 4-star read for me. So 4 stars for this one. I didn't actually read this one. I DNF'd this one around 35%, but it's Drunk on Love by Jasmine Gilroy. This one,
That's such a pretty cover.
I know, it's so freaking stunning. Like,
yeah, that's a bummer that you didn't like it.
But the reason why I DNF'd this one is because the chemistry between the 2 main characters, like, you get both points of views. It seems like there was like no actual like connection or chemistry, and it was just more of like a sexual connection. I was just like, okay, I get it. You guys want to sleep with each other, but like, yeah,
it needs a little more.
Yeah, I was
just
like,
permanent DNF.
Yeah, I think so. I just couldn't see where it went up. Plus, I can already see the red flags of like miscommunication, like popping up. I was just like, no, that's it for me. And then I also read The Reunion by Kayla Olson. This is the book of the month copy. This one was a 3-star. I really liked this one for the majority of. But if you're looking for something that's a little more closed door, I think this would be something that you would pick up. So definitely way different than this one, in my opinion. And then the next one I read was a reread, and I actually have both of the books here, but I reread Verity for the 4th time because it's one of my favorite books by Colleen Hoover. And then I read the bonus chapter after rereading this one. And this one I'm kind of torn on because this is, again, another 5-star read for me, but the bonus chapter kind of makes the whole story a 1-star read.
That's insane.
So I'm like very torn. I'm going to go with 5 stars just because this book is just so good. But honestly, do not read the bonus chapter, in my opinion.
I will be, and I can't wait.
You are going to read it?
Eventually, yes, but I don't know when.
Oh my God. It like ruined the book for me. Next, I picked up The Housemaid by Frida McFadden, and this one was also a really good domestic thriller. This could have been I had 5-star feels from the very beginning, but because it reminds me so much of 2 other thrillers, I'm knocking it down to 4 because I've been there, done that. And I would say what thrillers they are, but they are like, if I say it, it's going to ruin this book, or if you haven't read any of the other ones, it's going to ruin it too. So I think it's really good.
Exact same thoughts about that book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you read it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I might have to message you and be like, what books
Yeah,
do
we
you
can
think?
compare. Exactly. Because that book I think is divided into 3 parts. And I think basically said like part 1 is exactly like this thriller. Part 2 is exactly like this thriller. Part 3 is unique, but that's because those were 2 different books and it's like combining the 2 books.
Yeah.
But
Literally, if part 1 and part 2, like if those 2 books had a baby, it would be this book. I also read Malice House, which was my Sleep When I'm Dead book club pick. I ended up giving this one 2 stars, which is kind of sad because it's my own book club pick. But I feel like this is another one of my like top like favorite book discussions I've had for Sleep When I'm Dead. So if you want to check that out with me and Keisha, I feel like it's definitely worth a read. It's also very different than what I normally read and what I have for my book club. So I feel like it's worth it. And then the last one I finished today, which was Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. I really don't know what to rate it because I feel like if you're looking for smut, it's a 5-star. If you're looking for like a wholesome romance, it's a 2-star. But like I enjoyed it for the most part, so I think I'm landing on a 4-star. So
interesting.
Those are my 7 books.
Nice. Nice. And I don't know why Wi-Fi is being so wonky, so y'all are just going to have to bear with me. I'm sorry, but I'm going to go through some of the comments really quick.
Okay.
I'm going to try, but it might slow. And it's TBR. Nice. I know Jordan has read it as well. Yes, the Abby Jimenez trilogy. I know you want to read Fine Print, Keisha. I was like, oh yeah, did I show you what book I'm reading? Yeah. Does it come out in April? I think you said, yeah, April. Yours truly.
5 stars.
Get it. And I'm so excited. Hello, Summer. Yes. Lena. Sorry, my comments are so slow. 9 books in February. How many was that for you? I didn't count, Jessie.
7.
How many books?
7.
Okay, 7. So see, Jordan is the reigning queen this month. If we were counting books. 9 books. Needless Street, Willowbrook. Hello. 11 books. Yeah, I'm hoping to finish one more as well. 11 books. Nice. Aardvark seems like a bust. Do you have opinions on that, Jordan?
So I do talk about that in my vlog and whether I think it's worth it to continue trying the service. For me, the winner books of Aardvark have made it worth it because one of the books in my previous vlog, in my first Aardvark vlogs, was one of my top 10 favorite books of 2020. So like that was worth it to me to keep trying for a few more months. And then for me, Liar, Dreamer, Thief, I had such a good reading experience with it. It was 4 stars instead of 5, but to me makes me intrigued enough to keep trying it because I would not have picked up this book if it weren't for Aardvark. And I wouldn't have picked up that previous book that was legitimately an all-time favorite if it weren't for the Aardvark service. And I think I'm honing in more what types of books they pick that work for me. Like I actually think the weirder, more sci-fi type books work for me more than their historical fiction or their contemporary books. So going forward, I think I'll just have to keep that in mind and just pick those ones because those are the ones that I'm having luck with. But yeah, for me, it's worth it to get a win every 3 or 4 months. That's like 4 or 5 stars. But for some people, if that's not enough for you, then it might not be. So
yeah, one thing I will say about Aardvark is it is a very new subscription service. They just started in October, and they don't have like right this moment. They don't have. They're still finding their footing, you know. Like right now, you can't skip months, but they're adding that very, very soon. They're adding different genres. They're actually working with a different manufacturer for their books, because I know some people complained about like the quality of the books. So they actually changed companies and they're having a different person like do that. So they're still finding their footing. So is it worth it right now? Maybe not. You know, I'm not going to judge, like, you know, Jordan saying yes, it is, but maybe in a year, if you're not thinking it's right now, check them out in a year, because
And
I do think that it's nice.
Yeah, and it depends on what you're looking for a subscription box. Like a lot of people for Book of the Month, for example, love getting the new releases that they've been anticipating. They
Right.
want like the recognizable name, authors, and they just want the book for $15 or $16. Whereas Aardvark, in my opinion, is much lesser known authors and titles that I have never heard of before. And to me, I think that's a perk. I like,
Right.
hearing about books that I haven't heard of otherwise. But again, if that's not what you're looking for, then it's not the right subscription service for you.
Right. It's like finding those hidden gems.
Mhm.
And you also have to consider that like Book of the Month is US, so they're going to do the really popular books of the US, whereas Aardvark is a Canadian-based company, so they're picking really popular books for for a US audience too. So it's kind of like a toss. So I wouldn't say it's a bust.
Yeah,
They're just still working out some kinks. It's just different. So, and it also just depends on, you ask one reader and all the books were 5 stars that month. It depends on your own reading taste, your rating scale, all of that. But
yeah.
I
would love to, but I'm so bad at making time for adaptations.
I was going to say, you're horrible.
Especially for series and not movies. It's just like in my mind, dedicating that many hours to watching an entire series. I'm like, I can't. I don't have the time for that.
All you have to say, Jordan, is I have 2 kids.
Yeah, I've got 2 toddlers. Whenever I'm not dealing with them, I'm reading. So I would love to watch it someday.
Am I down 3 stars?
Mm-hmm.
Comments are jumping around. Yes, you have to, Rachel. So I'm just going to say that The Friend Zone, I ended up giving a 4 stars. And in my detailed review that will be coming like sometime in March on Goodreads and the Story Graph, because I always do my reviews for my patrons first, I explained the reasons why. I initially gave it 5 stars, but then I read the second book and I was like, no, that is a 5 stars. So I was able to distinguish much easier that The Friend Zone was 4 stars. And then the books 2 and 3 were 5 stars. So
that's awesome that it got better and better as it went.
Yeah, it just, that second book though. But it's funny because Jessie liked the second book the least out of the trilogy, right?
It's like,
yeah, I think so.
It's like
yeah.
Emily Henry's books or like the Talia Hibbert Brown sisters. Everyone has their own favorite.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's funny because I told Gwen, I was like, The Friend Zone's my favorite out of those 3. I liked the Happy Ever After playlist, but the middle section of that book I just wasn't a fan of. But then it got really good at the end. And then so I gave that one like a 3.5, I think, maybe a 4 star. And then the last book I gave 5 stars, but I don't remember hardly anything of it. So but I think it's definitely worth checking out.
Okay, 11 this month and 10 this month. Nice, you guys. Okay, so our first little game that we're going to do is building the perfect Valentine's Day, Galentine's Day based on the books that we read this month. So you're going to pick like your date, where you're going, if they brought you something for Valentine's Day or whatever like that. Who wants to go first?
I can. Or Jessie, you can go. Go ahead, Jess.
Okay. So for my date, it's funny. I had this filled out right before I finished Icebreakers. I would pick Nate from the Icebreaker series, or from this book. I'm sorry. But I feel like my answers would be better if I chose Jeremy from Verity. So that's what I'm going with.
Okay.
We are going to have a dock lakeside picnic right at sunset. And then it says, what gifts did I give him? So I put a bottle of red wine, some sports tickets, and a new headboard.
If you know, you know.
You know, you know. I'm going to put from Keisha.
I'm dead. Okay, go ahead, Jordan. Let's hear about your date.
Okay, mine would definitely be one of the characters in Longshot. If I was choosing a Valentine, it would be August, I think is the guy's name in here. And if it was a Galentine, it would be Iris, because I freaking love Iris, who is the female main character in this. She like goes through so much in this book. And we would go on a date to a survivalist experience, like in this book, Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute, where they're like in the woods doing survival missions.
Fun.
I said, or maybe a concert, because this book is about like a pop star singer, so that could also be fun. What did your date give you? This was a tough one to find in relation to the books I've read, but I'm going to say a book because why not? When is a book not a good gift? And this book is all about two guys who work in the publishing industry together and are working on publishing a new book. Yeah, is that all I had to answer? I think so.
Yep.
So that would be my date.
Okay, so my date would be Jason from the Happy Ever After playlist. Yes, that's who it would be. I would actually go to Lundy Bay from Malice House because it's a seaside coastal town. Like, it's a coastal town, lots of fogs. So like, and it has a bookstore and coffee shops. I'm not going to Malice House though. No. I'm not going there. And then I want the pink heart balloons from X's and O's.
Yeah.
That are at the very end of the book. But that's what I would get. Let me stack my books over here. So those are our Valentine's Day dates. If you have a date from books that you read this month, let me know in the comments. But now we're going to move on to the classic Kiss, Marry, Kill book tag. So me and Jordan are going to do 3 rounds of this, and Jesse's going to do 2 rounds. Let's see, we'll do Jordan first. So now obviously these aren't all from like romance books. These are literally just people from the books that we read. So it could be, who knows who it's going to be. So it could be a horrible character, but you have a chance to kill them off. So Jordan's first. Whoa. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So you're going to tell me who you would kiss, who you would marry, and who you would kill. All right. First one is Bradley from Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute.
Okay.
Or, is that how? Yeah, Unfairly Cute.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got him, Bradley. We have Heath from Broken Perfect Lies.
Okay.
And then we have, I don't know how to say his name, from the Coming Home book, Coming Home. T-O-U-R-E. Yeah.
Good question. That was an Audible original book that I listened to.
Yeah, by Kennedy Ryan.
Yeah, I forgot to even mention that one because it was so short and quick and I don't have it physically. We're going to kill him because I don't honestly remember that much about that story.
He's dead.
Him, so, yeah, he can go. I'm going to say I would kiss Heath from Broken Perfect Lies because he is a bodyguard. So that would be fun. And then I would marry Bradley because he is pretty adorable. We're going to ignore the fact that he's a teenager and that would be illegal.
That's what I was saying. Like some of this.
Yeah, we're going to look past those logistical issues, but he is pretty sweet of a guy. So
nice. Okay, next up, I'll do mine. Okay, mine is Calvin from Lessons in Chemistry. Life's Too Short, Adrian. And Booked on a Feeling, Jack. All right, so I'm going to kill Jack. Sorry, Jack. I'll kiss Calvin, and I'm marrying Adrian from Life's Too Short.
I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, didn't see that one coming.
All right, Jesse, it's your turn. Let me grab yours. Okay. I'm sorry, but you gave me Drunk on Love, so he's in here. Luke from Drunk on Love.
That's fine.
Jenny from Verity. or Rafe from Malice House?
Who was the character?
Luke,
Jeremy.
Luke from
Jeremy.
Drunk on Love, Jeremy from Verity, and Rafe from Malice House.
Like Lena said in the comments, sorry. Or no, Jack.
Luke.
Luke.
It's Luke.
See, I don't even know your name, but I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
This is kind of easy. I would kiss Rafe from this one. I would not want to marry him for obvious reasons. And then I would have to marry Jeremy for obvious reasons.
Nice.
Yeah, I did.
That's so funny. Okay. All right, Jordan, you're up. All right. We have Jay from All the Dark Places. August from Longshot.
Okay.
And Kevin from Kindred.
Okay. This works. We're going to kill this guy. Don't remember anything about him.
Jay.
So that's a no. Yeah. It's also a thriller, so like nobody is trustworthy or marriage worthy. We're gonna kiss August because he is an NBA basketball player. So that sounds like a fun time. And then I would marry Kevin from Kindred because he is a wonderful husband.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right. Let's see. The fine print, I have Rowan, Sea of Tranquility, Gasperi, and from Haven, Treon. Presenting. I think I would kill, kill Gasperi because, yeah. And I would probably kiss Treon. And then I'm marrying Rowan. Obvious, because he's a billionaire. Like,
that inheritance, though, yeah.
That inheritance. So, okay, we're going to skip you, Jesse, this round, and then we'll pick you up the next round. Okay, so Jordan, it's your turn again. Okay, last kiss, marry, kill. Daniel for Part of Your World.
Okay. You're not biased at all to the name Daniel.
Daniel. Kurt from Liar, Dreamer, Thief.
Okay.
And Norman from She Would Be King.
Okay. Interesting. I don't.
You're not allowed to kill Daniel.
I don't really remember Norman from She Would Be King, so I'm gonna have to kill out of default because I don't really remember. That's also not really that's a very like harrowing historical fiction book about like,
I know,
escaping slavery. It's a little tough to like put a romantic spin on that whole situation, so we'll just get that out of the way. Kurt in this book is also an interesting character to put a romantic spin on. I think I'm gonna say I would have to kiss Kurt and marry Daniel.
Good answer.
Seems like the obvious choice.
Okay, good. All right, Jesse, you're up.
Oh gosh.
Okay, we have Nathan from Icebreaker.
Okay.
We have, is his name Ransom from The Reunion? It's like Ransom.
Yeah.
Jonar. Yeah. Okay, so Ransom from The Reunion. And Andrew from The Housemaid.
Oh my god.
Well, sorry.
I feel like who I kill is going to be okay, yeah. I have to kill Andrew for obvious reasons.
Yep.
If you've read it, you know, but I haven't, so
I'm going to kiss Ransom because he's an actor. That could be fun. And then I'm going to have to marry Nathan from Icebreaker because, whew, the things I read.
More than just a one night thing.
All right, my last one is Cormac from Haven. I'm getting sucky ones. Edwin from Sea of Tranquility. And, okay, Jason from the Happy Ever After playlist. So, obviously, let's see. Who am I killing?
Jason.
No, absolutely not. Okay, who am I killing and who am I kissing? Okay, I'm sorry, Cormac, but you're old anyway. So I'm going to kill him and I'll kiss Edwin, I guess. It's not going to be a great kiss, guys. It's not. And then I'm going to marry Jason. Yay!
It's
All right,
funny when you were saying the names, like for the books I've read, when you would say the character name before the book, I'd be like, what book is that from? I don't remember the character names.
Yeah, so what I did to prepare for this is I didn't have them choose their characters. I was like, just tell me the books that you read, and then I'll pick the characters that I wanted to like put in the hat.
I was not prepared to be remembering character names.
So that was pretty fun. Okay, another like paper. Yeah. Another fun like Valentine's thing is like when you write someone a poem or poetry or something like that. So I thought we would do the classic like book spine poetry based on the books you read. So I'm just gonna say right off, my poem is horrible. Okay, we're not out here trying to be poets. We're just trying to piece it together. So yeah, you could use all of the books you read. You could use a couple of the books that you read. I didn't really care how you did this, but who wants to go first?
I can go first this time. Okay. Yeah, this was challenging. I mean, I guess I was the person with the most book titles to choose from, but I was still like, these do not make a poem. But we did the best we could. Okay, here we go. The Lost Girls of Willowbrook, coming home. The Marsh Queen, she would be king. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, highly suspicious and unfairly cute.
That
kind of rhymes.
It did. I liked it. Good job, Jordan.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess I'll go next. So since I didn't have as many books, I do have like some filler words, but I think it turned out pretty good.
That seems like your game.
I put, to you, I'm just the housemaid of Malice House, but to me, I'm Verity. Together, we were drunk on love. No more icebreakers, just X's and O's. But now I'm done until the reunion.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm not doing mine. No, I will. But that was so good. You guys are poets. Okay, look, Jordan, that was really good. Like so many people said that was so good. Okay, mine is horrible, but you know, who cares? Okay, so mine, I just wrote all the book titles and okay. X's and O's, Set on You, Lessons in Chemistry, What Lies in the Woods, Haven, Life's Too Short in Malice House, Booked on a Feeling, In the Friend Zone, This Might Hurt, In the Sea of Tranquility, The Happy Ever After playlist. Woo!
That's good.
I love that.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so those were our little Galentine's themed games. But now I thought it would be fun. I don't know if you guys normally read book dedications a lot. I know a lot of people are like, how was the first chapter or how was the first line? So we're going to do best dedication and best first line.
All right. So
I'll go first if you want me to.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So my best dedication was Set on You. I'm about to lose my mic if my books topple on my mic. Okay. My best dedication was from Set on You by Amy Lee. I also really loved the author's note in this one. So the dedication says, to everyone who rarely sees themselves represented in books and movies, to everyone who doesn't conform to mainstream beauty standards. You are worthy of an epic love story. We all are. I love it.
That's nice.
I can go next. So for mine, I'm choosing The Reunion by Kayla Olson. This one says, for all the Emilys who inspired and encouraged me while writing this book, Emily Murphy, my friend through every mountain and valley, Emily McCallan, who sharpens me on and off the tennis court, Emily Warbley, whose books made me fall in love with rom-coms, and Emily Henry, whose rom-coms made me finally decide to write my own. And for everyone who always wished for Topanga's hair, cheered and cried when Ross and Rachel finally had their first kiss, and had big opinions on whether Joey should choose Dawson or Pacey at the end. This one's for you.
Oh,
Nice.
that's a good dedication. It's fun.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool and interesting. And she shouted out Emily Henry. So,
Yeah, that's cool. All right. My best dedication is from You and I Rewritten by Chip Pons, who wrote, to the man who stood beside me on that ledge, took my hand in his, and leapt so fearlessly into the unknown with every fiber of his beautiful heart. My life is infinitely better because you love me. Which is
Oh,
pretty darn adorable.
oh my goodness. I love that. So I have definitely been compiling a list of some of my favorite dedications. And yeah, those would definitely be on it. I love those.
That's a good idea.
What about best first line? Jordan, why don't you start us off with that?
Okay. I had two contenders. So my first one was Broken Perfect Lies, which has the first line. How hard would I need to bash this guy's skull against the wall to kill him?
Ooh, that's intriguing.
Really sets a picture. But I also wanted to give a shout out to this book, Liar, Dreamer, Thief, because the first line says, when I was 10, I found a paperback chapter book nestled amongst the tables of the Scholastic Book Fair, which just like snapped me back in time to being at book fairs. And that was really fun and nostalgic.
Oh, that is awesome. They said,
I
Jesse,
know.
your bun is a look.
it's
We're
giving me
loving
heart-
it. It's giving me ballerina. Perfect. What's your best first line, Jesse?
Okay, I also had two, and I think it's funny because when Jordan was reading her first one, I chose Verity, which I feel like has a very iconic first line.
Agreed. Very similar.
Yeah, it says, "I hear the crack of a skull before the splatter of blood reaches me." So that one, and then I was like, "Well, I've read that one, and everyone knows that one." So I also wanted to choose "The Housemaid" by Frida McFadden. And this is the first line of the prologue, and it's very short. It says, "If I leave this house, it will be in handcuffs." So
I like that.
Nice.
Very intriguing.
Those definitely pull you in.
yeah.
Okay. My first line comes from Lessons in Chemistry, and it's a long one, so you're gonna have to bear with me here. It's like this whole paragraph right here.
Whoa.
It's one sentence. Okay. Back in 1961, when women wore shirtwaist dresses and joined garden clubs and drove legions of children around in seatbeltless cars without giving it a second thought. Back before anyone knew there'd be a 60s movement, much less one that its participants would spend the next 60 years chronicling. Back when the big wars were over and the secret wars had just begun and people were starting to think fresh and believe everything was possible, the 30-year-old mother of Madeline Zott rose before dawn every morning and felt certain of just one thing. Her life was over.
Oh, wow.
So
nice.
Very powerful first line for sure.
Yeah.
If you have a lot to say in that first line. So yeah, that was my favorite first line. But I also liked, there was the one, I think it was the X's and O's was pretty funny as well. you know your day is going swimmingly when you've been projectile vomited on and someone stole your Greek yogurt from the staff room refrigerator.
Oh
That one's
gosh.
pretty funny as
That
well.
I love the word swimmingly.
Yeah, yeah, I don't see it very often. Okay, how about some reviews for the first book that you read of the month and the last book that you read?
Okay.
Go ahead.
I think the first book I read was The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which I feel like everybody pretty much knows what this is about, but it's about this girl named Addie who makes this deal with this dark god or this devil that she can live forever. But the drawback is that nobody ever remembers her. So she has to live the rest of her life for eternity without ever making a mark on anyone, having a relationship with anyone. There are a lot of struggles that go along with that, like keeping a job, having a place to live. And it's really just about her life doing that forever. A lot of people, this is a pretty polarizing book. A lot of people really love it and it's their favorite books ever, but a lot of people were also disappointed by it when it came out. So I was curious where I was going to land, but I really enjoyed it. And I think I really liked the more like logistical elements of her figuring out how to live this never ending life, and the actual like struggles that come along with that, because that would actually be really difficult and kind of terrible. So I liked that and did connect with Addie and the characters she gets to know. So it was 4 stars for me. And then the last book that I finished is Liar, Dreamer, Thief by Maria Dong. So much, like I mentioned, this was a mystery thriller. It's about this main character who is neurodivergent. It's never really clearly said like what she's diagnosed with, but it seems to be some form of OCD because she has these compulsions, or she calls them rituals, that she has to do, like before she leaves a room or before she does something. So I thought she was a really interesting main character. And she has this coworker that she's kind of infatuated with, and something happens to him, and she's trying to solve that mystery with him. And this whole book is just, it's this really weird, creepy vibe where you're not sure like if what's happening to her is real because of her mental health kind of struggles. She doesn't know if she can trust her own mind. You don't know if you can trust her mind. And you don't know if like this mystery is all in her head or if there really are these weird like coincidences happening. Parts of it reminded me of Rabbits by Terry Miles, which Gwen will know, because that book is all about like coincidences and solving puzzles and like following your gut to follow clues and stuff. So I really liked that. And it reminded me of The Maid by Nita Prose because of the neurodivergent main character in the middle of this really weird situation. So gave it 4 stars, really liked it. Ultimately, how the mystery wrapped up wasn't the most like shocking or satisfying to me. So that's why I gave it 4 stars instead of 5. But I really enjoyed the rest of the reading experience.
Nice.
For me, the first book that I read for the month was X's and O's by Amy Lee. Again, this was the buddy read for X's and O's readathon, which is just perfect based on the title. This one is book 2 in the Influencer series, but you do not have to read the books in order from what I've gathered and what we've all concluded. But this is about Tara. She is a book influencer like on like Book Talk and Bookstagram, and she's really into romance and specifically second chance romances. And so she gets this opportunity or comes up with this idea to create her own second chance romance because she's kind of like a 5-stage clinger and she's been through like 10 different relationships. So she's come up with this list to see if she can create I can't remember if I said, but second chance romance. Is that the trope that I mentioned earlier? Okay, sorry. She's really into second chance romances. And so she's going to try to create her own second chance romance. But she also has this like super hot firefighter roommate who is more into like saving people in a fire, like will jump headfirst to save people in a fire, but will not jump headfirst into a relationship. So it's kind of a relationship between them two. I gave this one 4 stars. I feel like the main character was a little over the top, but it kind of made sense. Gwen also read this one for the readathon as well. And so I thought it was really, really cute. If you're looking for more of a rom-com-y than a like heartfelt tearjerker romance, I think you might like this one. And then the last book that I read is Icebreaker. I literally finished it today. Again, I feel like this one's really hard to rate because if you're looking for smut, I would give it 5 stars. But again, I'm not a big smut reader either, so it probably isn't a 5-star smut book. But if you're looking for like a good romance, I would say like a 2-star. But I overall really enjoyed it, so I giving it 4 stars. I feel like there was like not that big of a plot for this one. It was just about 2 people connecting. But it's about Anastasia or Stassi and then Nate Hawkins. And one's a figure skater, one's a hockey player. They both go to this college, and Stassi is trying to get in this competition or win this competition so she can potentially go to the Olympics. And then Nate is the captain of their college hockey team. And something happens to where they both have to share the skating rink because they have 2, but something happens to one of them to where they both have to share. And so like, I feel like it's a grumpy sunshine, but like it's very steamy in my opinion. So I really liked it. I feel like if you're looking for something that you don't want to take too seriously, this would be a good one too.
Sounds like an
Nice.
adult go figure. If either of you watched that Disney Channel original movie,
What was it
movie about
called?
a figure skater and a hockey player, or she's a figure skater, but she joins the hockey team, so she gets to know the hockky guy. But that's what it reminded me
Nice.
of.
The one show Jordan has watched.
Disney
Our
Channel,
movie,
yeah.
Nice. So that is book 1 in a series, Jessie. Are you going to continue in the series?
I might, because it the couple that it follows in book 2, I feel like they weren't as highlighted as much. So I am kind of curious where that will go. And I don't think it may or may not be like sports related. I'm not sure. I'll have to double check and go because this is a debut for the author. So I'm not sure exactly where she's going to take the other romance at. The cutting edge.
Yeah, I agree, Vanessa. That's the one that it reminded me of.
Yeah. I haven't seen that one, but go figure.
Go figure. Yeah.
It's my jam.
Nice. Okay, so the first book that I read was Set on You by Amy Lee, which, I mean, if you haven't picked up on by now, I loved this book so much. It does have a lot of pop culture references in it, so if that's not your thing, that might get a little annoying, but I loved, she is, our main character, Crystal, is a curvy plus size fitness influencer, and so she obviously goes to the gym a lot, and she kind of meets this guy there because he steals her squat rack, and it's kind of like an enemies to lovers, but not really. It's just like really like banter back and forth between them. And the thing that's preventing them from being together is that his grandfather and her grandmother are getting married. And they're like, oh, we don't want to go into this relationship and like it not work out and it get ugly between us. And then like, that's not good for the family. So that's like the conflict that's trying to keep them apart, but they just can't deny their feelings for each other. And it's just like so freaking cute. And he's a firefighter as well. Scott is a firefighter. And so there's definitely some steaminess in here, but it's not like over the top. It's not like total steam like Icebreaker is. Like it definitely has a plot and stuff. But even though she's like all about body positivity and like, stuff like that, I feel like even someone that is comfortable in their own body and portrays this message to their followers and stuff, she still like learns a lesson and kind of grows from something that happens in here. And it just felt so real and so like relatable to me personally. Like, even though I'm definitely not a influencer and the fitness influencer, like I can just understand where she's coming from. And I just related to her a lot as a character, as like a curvy, like plus size gal. So I really loved this one. And I highly recommend, like, even if I would definitely say you don't have to read them in order, but it's kind of nice to read them in order. So yeah, definitely read that one. And then my last book that I read was The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. And I heard everybody talking about this. I saw Jordan's vlog where she talked about it, and I was like, yeah, not really interested. But then Taya from Taya's Turning Pages, she went on like a book shopping trip, and she was talking about it. And I was like, dang it, Taya. So she's the one that finally made me buy the book. So I liked... So, okay, the basic premise of this is it's a trilogy, and each book follows a different brothers. There's 3 brothers, and at the beginning of this one, so this one is Rowan and Zahara. So the grandfather dies, and he was this owner of this like theme park called Dreamland, which is kind of like Disney World or Disneyland, whatever. And it's obviously a $1 billion company, and they're thinking they're going to get their inheritance. But at the funeral, they each get letters, and the grandfather says, you have to do XYZ to get your portion of the inheritance. And then the other guys have their thing too. So Rowan has to work to kind of like improve the park or something like that. Let's see what it says. I want to see exactly how it worded it. Was it over here? Okay. To receive your 18% of the company, you'll be expected to become the director and spearhead a unique project for me for 6 months. I want you to identify Dreamland's weaknesses and develop a renovation plan worthy of my legacy. So that's kind of what he has to do. And then, so he presents this project idea that he comes up with to this unknown board, and then they vote yes or no. And if they say yes, he gets his inheritance. And if they say no, that's it. His inheritance goes to his dad instead. And there's no like second chances or anything like that. So he's trying to figure out, you know, how to get his inheritance. Of course, he's really connected to the theme park and stuff like that. But it has a lot of romance tropes in it, like insta love, workplace romance, grumpy sunshine. But unfortunately, I didn't like the romance. It was so insta-lovey that basically the first time they feel each other, they're feeling things. They're like, oh, it just sent a zing up my spine. And I'm like, literally? Like, does that actually happen? So because it was so insta-lovey, I never felt the chemistry between the 2 characters. And so then when it got to the sex scenes, I was kind of like, okay, we get it. You're having sex. But the theme park part, I really liked. And I liked, you know, how he's like a billionaire, but she's kind of like an everyday worker that just like her whole family works in the theme park and stuff. So I liked that part of it, but I wasn't really like a fan of the romance. And when they got to the sex scenes, they weren't really working for me because I didn't feel their chemistry. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, So I rated it 3 stars. Will I continue? Yes. Is it a priority? No. So that's kind of
Interesting.
That. But
I was waiting
to
hear
you
your
gave it 3
thoughts on
stars,
that
right?
one. Yeah, and I had similar feelings. Loved the theme park improvement parts. That whole project. Was not expecting that to be a big plot in the book, but it was, and I liked it. But same. I didn't dislike the romance. I just wasn't
Right.
super invested in it. So
Right. I didn't hate it. I wasn't like, ew,
Yeah.
nasty, but I was just kind of like, okay, we get it. You're attracted to each other and you're doing it now. Woo.
Yeah.
You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So that kind of wraps up February, but moving on to March, are there any things that you have on the horizon for March that you're going to be doing or reading or in life, in book world, however you want to share?
Well, Jessie, as mentioned earlier, your book club, we will be reading
Yes.
The Villa by Rachel Hawkins, which I don't have it by me. I don't know if you do, but I will be joining her for the live show. And this one will be extra spicy because I loved Reckless Girls by this author, which Jessie did not. And she liked The Wife Upstairs, which I did not. So we'll see if one of us likes this one more than the other. And
yeah, I feel like it's like a battle between me and you.
Yeah. Or maybe we'll both love it or both hate it.
Or we'll be like,
both love it.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah.
I like Jordan said, or were you done? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump you.
Yeah, you go ahead.
I will be reading 𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒔 because it's my Sleep When I'm Dead book club pick with Jordan for the month of March, which I'm really excited about. I will also be participating in the 24-hour Let's Get Graphic readathon, which Gwen, Keisha, and Elizabeth are hosting. It actually starts this Friday, right?
Yeah, the 3rd.
Yeah. Friday the 3rd, which I'm really excited about. I'm excited to catch up on my reading goal. So I'm hoping like all these graphic novels will help me get there since I only read 7 books this month. So that's happening. And I think that's it. Besides my reading wrap up live show on my channel this Saturday. So
yeah, the 4th, right?
The 4th.
That's when you're going to do it. So she's going to do her reading wrap up live show on the 4th. And what time do you do it?
I think last time I did it at 10. So for right now it'll be at 10. I haven't like scheduled it, but probably 10 a.m. Eastern, but maybe I might do 11 just so it gives the East Coast people some time to like tune in. I don't know.
Yeah, the West Coast people.
Or the
West Coast, but
I don't
know. Nice. Anything else you wanted to mention, Jordan?
I have my TBR video going out, I think, on Wednesday. So that'll talk about the books I'm planning on reading. Personally, I'm planning on going on a cruise, which I leave for on.
So jealous.
I know it's gonna be so fun. We leave here on Friday and we leave like on the actual cruise on Saturday. So it's gonna be unfortunately right during the Let's Get Graphic readathon. So probably won't be doing any like readathon vlogging or anything. But hopefully we'll be doing lots of reading on that trip. And the backlist readathon, which 𝒑𝒏𝒌𝒔 in the comments is a co-host for, probably will try to participate in that because I always have backlist books that I want to be knocking out. And otherwise just other videos and stuff in the works. So that's about it.
Nice. Well, awesome. Well, obviously, I'm hosting Let's Get Graphic with Keisha and Elizabeth. I'm so excited for it. It's something I've been wanting to do for like the last couple of years, but I've just been like not motivated to actually make it happen. So I have my dream team together with Keisha and Elizabeth, and we have we're going to do a reading sprint on Friday night. It's just going to be so much fun because it is a good way to boost your goal, but it's also a way to just like spread the word that like graphic novels, comics, and manga are legitimately reading. I know there's people out there that are like, oh, it's not really reading, or oh, it's a kid's book. No, just try it. It's only 24 hours. Just try one or try many. It doesn't matter. So I'm very excited about Let's Get Graphic. All of the information, I have an announcement on my channel, but I also have information on my Instagram at 𝒍𝒊𝒏𝒅. Check out Keisha at A Book Like You and Elizabeth at Ponytails and Paperbacks. They have YouTube channels and they have Instagrams under those names. And then also March is middle grade March. It's all month long. And they do have prompts and stuff like that. But because of all of the other plans that I have going on, because I'll also be reading 𝒂𝒊𝒏, I'm not going to be in the live show, but I'm going to read it for her book club. But I have so many other plans in March that I'm just going to try to do maybe like a weekend of reading some middle grade books, because I did Bookathon last October with Keisha. And had so much fun, and Gabby was in there with me as well, but we had so much fun doing middle grade books. I was like, I can do maybe a weekend of reading some middle grade for March. But yeah,
that's a good idea.
And yeah, just toss a few in there, you know. Backlist, 𝒂𝒊𝒏. Nice. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me for our February reading wrap up. This is always so much fun. You know, I love hanging out with you too. Hopefully we can do it in person soon.
Wink, wink, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully. But anyway, thank you guys so much. Again, if you're watching and you want to participate in one of these, all you have to do is let me know. You can DM me on Instagram or fill out that little form, and then I'll reach out to you. Their channels and their Instagrams are linked in the description box. Definitely go subscribe if you aren't already. I love both of them so much. I love their content. They just bring me so much joy. Jordan is definitely like my challenger friend. She challenges me to be a better person. And Jessie is like my hilarious friend that keeps me laughing through the darkest days. So literally these women mean so much to me. So definitely go subscribe to them. Let's see. Oh, the story of Under Mud. Everybody's asked. A lot of people have asked. So Off topic, is there a story behind the name Lavender Mud? Not really. I wanted to do something like clean and dirty. So lavender, like the scent of lavender is very calming. And then like mud, obviously not calming. So I brought them together for Lavender Mud. But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you guys at home like enjoyed watching and hanging out with us. I'll be back at the end of March with another one. Very excited about it. It's going to be Summer and Taya. So come back,
Nice.
check them out as well. All right. Talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.